Welcome to the Leather Journey. I'm Dex, and this is my Coton de Tuileries Bunny. Bunny's my clickbait. Now that you've clicked on the video, I'm going to put Bunny down, let her run off and play. And we're going to talk today about throwing 6-foot bullwhips. Some of the parameters around it, some of the considerations that I'm looking at, and how I actually am going about practicing throwing a 6-foot bullwhip, getting ready for a leather event that's coming up in July. So let's put Bunny down and let's talk a little bit about this. Here we go, Bun. So for those of you that have watched my channel, I normally throw a 4-foot bullwhip, and then if I'm at a house party and there's not enough room, I will throw a 3-foot. Sometimes I'm not even able to throw a bullwhip, and I end up throwing a signal whip. So I've got a 6-foot bullwhip here, and for all you naysayers out there that don't believe that this is a 6-foot bullwhip, I have my trusty tape measure here. So that's a 12-foot tape measure. You measure a bullwhip from the heel knot to the end of the fall hitch. Okay, so get that lined up, and 6 foot is right there. There you go. It's a 6-foot bullwhip. You don't measure the fall. This particular whip has a fall that's about 2 foot, 3 inches long. And then I've got my cracker on here is about 7 inches long. I'm getting ready to do what I call ButtBoy Sessions. ButtBoy Sessions are going to be outdoors at an outdoor event that I'm attending in July, and for that I'm going to be throwing, I'm going to warm up with a cat o' nine, but then I'm going to be throwing a 5-foot bullwhip and transitioning to 6-foot bullwhips. I have an 8-foot snake. I may end up doing some wraps around the waist with that, but these two 6-foot bullwhips is what I've been practicing with. And I'm designed a specialty cracker just for the ButtBoy Sessions. It's a Lady Sally style cracker that's 3-plaited ponytail, flat ponytail, finished with a flat knot. And I'm leaving a little longer fluff than I normally leave, about the length of the end of my thumb. And actually the cracker's a little bit longer than I normally play with a 4-foot. So everything's a little bit longer, gives me a little more margin for error, okay? The goal of the ButtBoy Sessions is to actually do contact play with a 6-foot bullwhip. So if you were gonna throw a 6-foot bullwhip, let's talk a little bit about that indoors. For those of you that have followed my channel, the carpet that's normally in this space is 8 by 10. And I did a video on whip lanes to show you about how big you would need your whip lane to be to throw a 4-foot signal on a 4-foot bullwhip. What about a 6-foot bullwhip? Well, if you take the 8 by 10, if you go back to high school geometry and you run that diagonal from corner to corner, that's called the hypotenuse. You've got a right triangle. One side of the triangle is 8 foot, the other side is 10 foot. If you run that hypotenuse, the hypotenuse comes out to be about 9.5 feet, okay? At least that's what Alexa thinks it is. So, throwing a 4-foot bullwhip, I'm throwing on the B side of the triangle, or the length of the rectangular space. Throwing a 6-foot, I'm going to turn at an angle and throw the diagonal of that triangle. So today I've set up my 8-inch wind gong, and I'm going to throw at the wind gong a little bit and show you what that looks like. And then I'm going to stop the video and flip my target where the target is up by the camera, and I'm going to throw toward the camera so you can get an idea of what that looks like and what that sounds like on the wind gong. So let's get a little bit of music to play with. Can't throw a whip in the dungeon. without a little bit of music. We're going to be doing ButtBoy Sessions, so we might as well throw to ButtBoy. So how far away do I start? How do I know where to start? Well, I always have the whip catcher nod their head when they first feel the puff of the cracker. But with a 6-foot bullwhip that's about 8 foot total length, you want to at least be in the vicinity. So what I do is I lay it out, I ground it in front of me, and I want the end of this cracker to be about a foot or a foot and a half from my target. So when I start throwing it, I'm not hitting the target, but I'm far enough away that I can inch in toward the target, but I'm close enough that it's not going to take me a half hour to find that target. So I'm just going to throw it. What I want to achieve is a rolling loop that finishes on the target. Okay, I'm there with my forehand. Now in my practice, what I discovered is my backhand comes up a little short. So if you look at my footwork, I'm throwing in what I call foot position 4. If you're into ballroom dance, one foot's ahead of the other foot. In this case, my non-dominant foot is leading my dominant foot. And what I discovered was my backhand's a little short. So if I find the target on the backhand with my weight forward on the non-dominant foot, then I can lean back and throw off with the weight off my dominant foot for my forehand. So I should be leaning forward on the backhand and rocking back on the forehand. And I found with my particular throwing style, with me coming up short on the backhand, it works better when I'm leaning forward on the backhand and rocking back on the forehand. So you can see I've got till July to get this down, but I'm making progress. I'm able to feather that wind gong, most of the time. Do I miss it some? Yeah. Do I hit it a little hard some? Yeah, but I mean, throwing a 6-foot bullwhip is the definition of edge play. So my goal is to get good enough that I can finesse it and have a decent, probably 20-30 minute scene with someone. Obviously the whip's heavier than a 4-foot. Your arm's gonna get tired quicker. Okay, so this was a 6-foot, 2-belly, naturally loaded bullwhip by Bill Gnomes. The other bullwhip I've been practicing with is a 6-foot target bullwhip by Peter Jack. And Peter Jack puts a light shot load in his bullwhip, so this is going to have a little bit different feel than the Bill Gnomes. So again, I'm going to start about a foot from my target and try to get that rolling loop going on the forehand and the backhand. I'm not trying to crack the whip. I'm trying to feather the whip and get it to finish in a puff. I mean, the crack is there. A 6-foot bullwhip wants to crack itself. So once you're feathering it, and you can put the fluff on your target with control, then that crack is always there at the same release point. It's just a matter of cracking. Okay, so now I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to switch my targets around so you can see me throwing at the camera. Be a little different angle. So here we are throwing at the camera, or toward the camera. I'm not throwing at the camera per se, I'm throwing actually with the same wind gong. I just flipped my target so you could get an idea of what this looks like throwing at the camera or in the direction of the camera. little too close there. You gotta adjust the angle of the windmill. Here we go. All right, let's give it another start. I'll edit all that out. Okay, so here we go. So I'm right forward on the backhand, back on the back forehand, forward on the backhand, back on the forehand. And I'm a little heavier on the target than I really want to be, so I might move back just a little bit. So I want to be able to feather. That forehand is a little heavy. The whip catcher might like it, but for practice, it's heavier than I want it to be. And I'll throw the other bullwhip just a little bit so you can see the Bill Gnomes coming at you. Bill's not flatting anymore, but he made me an excellent 6-foot bullwhip. And I really enjoy throwing it, and it's the only, well, I have 2 of his whips still. The rest of his whips got sold in a Thinning the Herd episode, but I really enjoy his 6-foot bullwhip. It's really nice work. I got the forehand down, but the backhand's not there. I mean, I'm not going to be killing anybody with this backhand. There we go. Got the backhand there, forehand there. It's a little bit heavier whip than the Peter Jack, even though the Peter Jack has shot in it. Very accurate. So we're doing extremely well. As always, thanks for watching The Leather Journey.